Hey everyone. Megan, I'm going to wait for you to give me the introduction. I'm sorry, you said to wait, and I'm going to.
That's all right. It's okay to say hello. I'm going to count your winning footballs behind you as we're waiting for folks to join. Dr. Elko, do you have rings on both hands? Your Super Bowl rings?
Just one, but I'm going to Tuscaloosa to pick one up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they got them yesterday. I got on my big, this is one of the Alabama ones. There's a lot of bling in that one.
Yeah, there is. That's amazing. We're going to give everybody another maybe 10, 15 seconds to join, then we are going to kick off here. All right, why don't we roll? So we thank you everybody for joining us today. This is a privilege. Our partner New York Life is working with Dr. Kevin Elko, who we have with us today. Dr. Elko has worked with numerous NFL teams, as well as a number of college football teams, and is a big Alabama guy, was helping that team when they just got their big win. So we're excited for him to be able to be here and give us some perspective on raising resilient kids, which is something that's probably never more important and topical than right now with all that we are going through. There's a lot that our kids are being faced. Our goal is to be able to have this presentation address both parents of kids as well as older kids as well. So if you've got questions, we want to be able to hear them. Dr. Elko is going to go about 20 minutes, and then we will do some Q&A. So if you have questions, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen, and we will get them, and I'll pop back on and ask Dr. Elko whatever questions that come in. But without further ado, Dr. Elko, thank you so much for being here, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. I really thank you, Megan. Thank you for the introduction. And I was getting ready. You guys were all so much fun. So thank you. Resiliency. This whole concept of resiliency. It has been identified as the factor in us having success by a lot of people. Carol Dweck at Stanford, Angela Duckworth at the University of Pennsylvania, Martin Seligman as Pennsylvania. Resiliency, coming back from a setback. By now, we've all had so many setbacks. Setbacks like, I thought I was going to have a prom, I didn't. I thought I was going to have a senior graduation, I didn't. I had a friend of mine who's my financial advisor actually, whose daughter had a Rhodes Scholarship canceled. My daughter also had her internship and her year, and my son their year at college with Deloitte and UCLA and DePaul. They're all here with me. I'm just in the kitchen with them. And so really there's been so many setbacks, but our ability to come back from setbacks has been identified. And when I say what are we trying to do together as a family, what about how we help each other? We encourage on one another. We have real purpose how to come back from a setback. That's what we want to get to. How can we keep on coming back? Resiliency. And it has been identified as a factor with success, morale, health, happy. What else is there? How to come back after a setback. So I want to talk about developing a partnership in our whole house. Sidahara O is a Japanese baseball player. He would go to the plate and said, me and the pitcher are in a partnership to make me a great hitter. A partnership. How can we all be in a partnership? Not kind of mom and dad's the warden and the children are, I don't know, how do I say it, the escapees. We're all going to be together and coming together and having a partnership. How do we do that? How do we come together? I tell my kids all the time, we are in a partnership. My ability to come back after a setback. Now, there is a psychologist named Sigmund Freud. He was pretty famous. His daughter wasn't as famous, but she came up with something that is extremely fascinating to me. She said the first factor in resiliency, connection. When the family stays connected. She went through World War II, she went through London, but when they stay connected. When we say and we have an urge, what does it mean by connected? That I see Megan as a person. I see Morgan as a human being. Stay connected. We have to stay connected as family. And listen, that's not a feeling, that's a choice. What does connected mean? That we all get together and say, I am not going to be so interesting, I'm going to be interested. I want to know about you. I want to be a great listener. I want to be somebody that can come and stay connected with you. I'm going to say, Mom and Dad, grandparents as well. Stay connected to your children. And children, stay connected to your parents. It's connection which is the key, which means I want to be interested in you as a human being. I want to be interested in you, somebody. When we stay connected as a family, when we stay connected to an older adult, we have resiliency. That's the first factor that she found. Stay connected. Have somebody that you can give a voice to your upset. Hey, mom and dad, quit judging and giving advice. Just listen. Listen to understand. Be somebody there that gives a platform. Quit trying to fix it. You're not trying to fix it, mom and dad. You're supplying an environment. You're supplying an environment that's safe, where they could change themselves. You're supplying a platform that has confidence that they could change themselves. So my first point, let's stay connected. There was a study done in the Pittsburgh City Schools, the number one factor in elevation of kids' math scores. When a teacher goes to the kids' basketball game, let's show interest. Children of your parents, parents of your children. Let's stay connected. Let's stay connected. I love the weekly huddle. This is a day we're all getting together. This is a day at least once a week. We're all going to get together and connect. If you could do it every day, that's wonderful. But this is one day, no debate. Here we go. It's our connection huddle. And we sit and we talk. And we sit and we teach. But one phrase, I want to know you as a person. Second point, most parents do not allow their child to go through anything. They want to rescue them. Parents, quit rescuing your child. Children, quit asking your parents to rescue you. Go through something and grow through it. One of the big factors here in developing resiliency is we looked at what happened last year and the disappointment, and we don't sit and rescue one another. We help each other grow through it. We help people get stronger through it, use their mind, learn how to get a vision through it. Quit rescuing one another. That's not your job. It's not our job to fix it. It's to help each other fix it themselves. Responsibility, ownership. Ownership is a huge, huge factor. Harold Wilkie was born without arms. Harold Wilkie yet signed the American Disabilities Act. Harold Wilkie has his bachelor's and master's from Harvard. He has his PhD from the University of Chicago. He went on to be a priest and wrote that act. George H.W. Bush, in the lawn of the White House, signed the American Disabilities Act. Said, let the walls of exclusion come tumbling down. Hand the pen to somebody on his left. He signed it. Hand to somebody on his right. He signed it. Handed then back to Harold Wilkie. Harold Wilkie took off his shoe because he had no arms, grabbed the pen with his foot and signed it, put the pen with his foot in his pocket. The place erupted. Erupted. Harold Wilkie was in kindergarten. It was his fourth kindergarten because people freaked out because he ate with his foot. And on the day he was first day in kindergarten, he was struggling to put his jacket on because he had no arms. And a parent said to his mother, why are you standing there watching your son? Why don't you help him? You're just standing there. She says, I am helping him. We got to learn how to handle things on our own. We got to show this message. Megan, I believe in you. Morgan, I think you can handle that. What are some of the things you think you could do with it? What are some of your ideas? Let's quit rescuing one another. Let's get to a point where we say, I want you to go through it and grow through it. Roger Crawford is another one who was born with two hands missing, thumbs out of his forearms, no left leg. His parents encouraged him to play sport. They encouraged him to play football. They encouraged him to play wide receiver. What? I don't have any hands, Mom. Dad, I don't have a left leg. He caught a game. He caught a ball. He's running for the end zone. The opponent tackles him on the 10-yard line. On his prosthetic leg, he pops out of his leg and hops in the end zone. He said, my parents taught me something. Don't ever think about and focus on what you don't have. Think about what you do have. I say this all the time. Let's not judge one another by what we think. How about what we dream? He dreamed big. Why not dream big? Don't rescue one another. Let people go through it so they can grow through it. Mom and dad, quit rescuing your kids. Kids, quit asking for mom and dad to rescue you. Go get tough. Go learn from it. Go learn from it. Don't rescue one another. Third point. When we get our weekly huddles together, all what I do is I teach people how to talk to themselves. That's basically what I teach. Resiliency is learning how to talk to ourselves. Megan, when we get the question and answers, ask me how you talk to yourself. I said to myself. Come on, were you listening? Say that phrase. I said to myself. There's two people in that phrase, I and myself. I talk to myself. Nelson Mandela walked out of prison. He got a scowl on his face. He was mad. Bill Clinton saw it. Why were you mad? 27 years you're in jail. You should be happy. You're finally released. He said, the same people celebrating my release put me in there. Watch what he did next. He talked to himself. He went, Nelson, when you were in prison, you were free. Now you're free. Don't put yourself in prison. That's what we're going to do. As a family, we're going to teach each other. How do we talk to each other? How do we talk to ourselves? Private conversations that we have. See, most people listen to themselves. Few people talk to themselves. Resiliency is literally talking to yourself. Events don't make you miserable. Events don't make you stop. How you talk to you does. I have a book called The Sender. My friend Chuck Pagano was the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Called me and said, I have cancer. That's what you do. Do you realize it? Here's one to start teaching your kids. Kids, here's one to start teaching your parents. He got cancer. I said, what you do when you realize it? He said, well, we just lost to Jacksonville. My outside linebacker stood up and said, there's no self-pity in football. Take the lessons and move on. He said, there's no self-pity in cancer. Start my IV. Everybody listen. Refuse to be a victim. You're not a victim. You live in a great country. I understand it's not perfect. You're in a great situation. Do not allow yourself to go into self-pity. No self-pity in my day. I watched this movie, Pitch Perfect 2. These 4 young women were singing at a major university. They sang so bad they got thrown off the stage. The one girl said, this is the worst thing ever happened to me. The third girl was from a third world country. She said, I had diarrhea once for 7 years. Say that constantly at your huddles. There's no self-pity in our home. There's no self-pity in the Glasser home. There's no self-pity in the Elka home. And let's learn how to not go into self-pity, because then if you're a victim, you get victim friends, you go to different victim schools, you have victim behavior, you get a victim pet, everything's a victim because you see yourself as one. Refuse it. No self-pity. Talk to you. Megan, if you recorded this and I see you are, you might have to send this back to me. I might have to play this. I might have to learn this stuff again. Talk to you. So let's keep on doing this thing. Talking to you. Because I'm going to bring it to one thing. Dwight Eisenhower had tremendous resiliency. He came back from setbacks. Led us through the Normandy invasion. Our country. Led us as the President of the United States. It happened when he was 11 years old. Parents, listen. Children, listen. He was trick-or-treating. His dad said, go home, you're too young. He threw a fit. His mother didn't rescue him. His mother didn't go to Mr. Eisenhower and say, come on, Pops. Take it easy on the kid. She didn't do that. She didn't split parenting. She went to Dwight and she gave him one thing, self-talk. I said to myself, private speech. And he said it to himself all the time. Ready? She said, Dwight, greater is he, greater is she that can conquer their own mind than conquer a great city. Teach your kids how to talk to themselves. Doesn't matter what somebody else says to them. It matters what they say to them. Teach them. Quit letting the outside world drive them. Frances Perkins, some of these questions, Megan said, are going to come in when I have young college age kids. Frances Perkins learned something at her graduation that made her a resilient leader, change maker, giant, woman making a mark in this country. Frances Perkins graduated from Mount Holyoke. She was a nanny in New York City. One day she was looking, as she was a nanny, out the balcony and saw a sewing factory on fire. The doors were chained. She watched women burn to death. She was bold. I like boldness. Hey, everybody, listen and teach your kids this. Fail forward. Go do some stuff where you fail. Come to grips with failure. The great ones, they fail so much, but they came to grips with it. They know the more they try, the more they fail, but the more they fail, the more they're going to succeed. If you fail smart, don't go be foolish. I hope my kids are listening outside the door. So, Frances Perkins was bold. She had something burning in her heart. She had something she believed in. She went to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. She's a nanny. I'm going to be your Secretary of State, Secretary of Labor. What? No woman's ever been a secretary ever in a cabinet, presidential, and you're a nanny. That's right. And I'm going to be your Secretary of Labor because what I saw I can't stand for. Can you imagine a woman then? Can you imagine a woman now going to places you're going to change these safety standards? Really? Yes, you are. You imagine how much resistance, setbacks she had? She also wrote the Social Security Act. Can I tell you her private speech? It was her Mount Holyoke talk. Remain ye steadfast. Remain ye steadfast. Don't stop. Don't quit. You know, of all the different factors in winning, they did a test. College seniors at Harvard 49 years ago, they gave them all these different tests. There was one test that was the number one factor in success. They gave them a 10-minute treadmill test. They would not come off that treadmill for 10 minutes. They would not stop. Remain ye steadfast. Okay, here we go, Morgan. Here we go, Megan. So what's the phrase I need to teach my household? I had a guy yesterday on our talk. We did this talk yesterday. He was 78, and he says, I'm going to teach it to my grandkids, but I'm going to use it myself. I just had a bad diagnosis from a doctor. Here comes. Are you ready? Here comes the phrase. I want you to teach it and reteach it. Put it on the walls. I work at Alabama football. This Nick Saban just wrote our first chapter in my book. Here was the first chapter. Are you ready? Here's a self-talk phrase. So what? Now what? There it is. I want you to teach that every time you get a chance. Look, we speak that all the time. So what? Now what? I'm going to fly to Tuscaloosa. If my plane's canceled, I go, so what? Now what? I hope I don't get it, but if I get a flat tire on the way to airport, so what? Now what? If somebody says something nasty to me, so what? Now what? So what? Now what? That's our phrase. That's a powerful phrase. If you can't do anything about something, it's so what? Change the changeable, accept the unchangeable, remove the unacceptable. You know, there's a difference between blue thoughts and true thoughts. This is awful. This is terrible. Nothing will be good again. It's a rainy day. So what? Come up with some solution. I applied to this university. I applied to my alma mater, West Virginia University. Between us, you'll probably get in there. I applied and they shut us down. So what? Now what? I guess I wasn't supposed to go to this school. There's something better around the corner. Some friends said they don't want to be friends with me anymore. Okay, you're going to wish you were my friend. So what? If I can't do anything about it, it's so what? I work with a little company called TNT Fireworks. They'll bring a little private plane to pick me up because it's in Florence, Alabama. You know, you ever hear Muscle Shoals has got the swampers? I keep singing, but dogs start howling. And the pilot meets me out on a tarmac and says, how much do you weigh? I said, why would you ask me that? He said, we need to know how much fuel to put in a plane. I said, fill it up. Let me have the gas nozzle. I go on a plane, this guy's already on. He goes, hey, there's 4 of us on here. You think everybody told the truth about their weight? I got off the plane. That's it. I'm out. Can't take it. But you can't get off the plane of life. You have to say, so what? Learn to have peace. Now what? There's a little town called Enterprise, Alabama. They're growing cotton. The boll weevil wipes them out. Somebody says brand new crop called the peanut. They plant it and they become wealthy from the peanut. If you go to Enterprise today, in the middle of town is a big statue of a bug. Caption underneath, thank you, Mr. Boll Weevil, for the role you play in our prosperity. So what? Now what? And I'm going to close with this. Faith. Faith in you. Faith that you have what it takes. Faith that you can overcome. Faith that there's a plan for your life. Faith. I work with Nick Foles, MVP of the Super Bowl. Young man getting ready to play the Patriots. I told him how David became the king of Israel. And someone said, I got your director of security, David, Benaiah. What did he do? He came face to face with a lion. He ran at the lion turned and fell into a pit. He jumped in the pit and killed the lion with bare hands. Run at the roar. Have faith. Hey kids, hey young people, have faith in your parents. Hey parents, have faith in your kids. And everybody, have faith in yourself. Have faith. And look, you want me to tell you what I think we are today? We're too realistic. Well, that's realistic. You can't do that. Well, be unrealistic. Be faithistic. Think anything can happen and go prove it with your actions. Faith. Frank Szymanski played football for Notre Dame. He had to testify in a civil suit. The judge said, how good are you? He said, Judge, don't ask me that. Come on, how good are you? He said, I'm the best offensive lineman who's ever played at Notre Dame. Next day he's back on campus. His coach, Frank Leahy, said, did you say you're the best offensive lineman who's ever played at Notre Dame? I did, Coach. Why'd you say that? I didn't want to. I was under oath. Faith. Let me tell you what I told you. Resiliency. Coming back from a setback. Coming back. Life has a lot of setbacks. Go fail. Go fail a lot. Hey, parents say to your kids, that's a beautiful mistake. What do we learn from that? Teach us to have a relationship with mistakes and failure. The great ones do it more than they succeed. They try more. Let's stay connected to each other. I see you as a person. I love you. I care about you. Connection. There's a phrase we used when I was with the New York Giants. It was US. United over self. United over self. Stay connected. Quit rescuing one another. Life is not going to get easier. This is your university. This is your coursework. Learn how to rise above it by how you think, why you have faith. Take every one of these events that happened in 2020 and on and let it be your curriculum to get tougher. Private speech. Remain ye steadfast. Greater mind can conquer my own mind, conquer great city. So what? Now what? And choosing faith. Megan, I'm turning this over to you, my friend.
I am so frustrated that I went off camera because I wish you saw my reactions. I was laughing. I mean, first of all, so what now what is going to be said in my house on the daily. But also when you talked about filling up the plane, that made me laugh. But got a ton of amazing things. And I do have some questions to be able to go through with you. I'm going to set the stage quickly to say in my house, this is how, whatever the opposite of a helicopter parent is, I guess I'm a submarine parent. My oldest is a junior in high school and is basically in charge of everything. The other day, last week, she came and I yelled up to her because I knew she was upstairs. I yelled up to her, hey, I'm making you a sandwich for lunch. That is the first time that has ever been uttered in this house because usually people fend for themselves. Making you a sandwich for lunch. Don't hear anything. I know she's on Zooms. 3 minutes later, the door opens and from the garage, she walks in and I go, where have you been? And she said, I've been taking my SATs. Like, so this is a person that is so self-sufficient. She got herself through SATs. Her mother didn't even know. At what point, and I get it with let them fail. At what point do you look at someone that's self-sufficient and successful and say, now they need help? Somebody needs help, or do you just wait for them? I mean, I believe in letting people fail, but when do you look in and say this is going to be a big fail?
I think you step in, Megan, when you realize, one, that they can't help themselves. Like, this is bigger than them. And I really, Dr. Deci is a psychologist at the University of Rochester, and he says what you just said. A big factor in motivation is autonomy. And so I think when we step in and say, look, can I talk with you? Here's some ideas I have, but it's your choice. This is your choice. I'm offering it to you, but allow them to choose. Because autonomy is a huge part. Plus, one of the biggest things, Megan, in resiliency is having a positive self-concept. So when we go and solve things ourselves, we start to feel good about who and what we are. So I think you have to say, when can you not handle it yourself? Now, I'm not talking about protection. I'm not talking about those kind of things. You know, I just had a talk with my kids in our kitchen about dangerous and paying attention to what's going on, because it is dangerous out there. But I think it comes down mostly when we're talking to them about, I want to help you when you can't help yourself, when it's little, and then teach them it's okay to reach out and get other resources.
Mm. So that's a good segue to the next one. What do parents need to do to be calm and supportive versus reactive to kids' emotional states?
The stuff I'm teaching right now, don't get me wrong, it's not easy. It's really not easy because we want to we love our kids. We want to react. It's a difference between a feeling and a choice. We have to overcome feeling. I feel, I choose. I feel with all I've got, I want to get in there and help you. I feel like all I got to go down there and have a little bit of a road to Damascus discussion with that teacher. Yeah, I feel all I've got, but I'm going to choose not to. And a lot of things in life, health, a lot of things, finances, it really comes choice over feelings. And it's a big part of success. And that's why I love when you have two parents on how you can do it. Because we need someone to help keep us accountable and not keep surrender to our feelings. I feel like doing this, I'm going to choose not to. After you choose a few times, it gets a little easier. But at first, this is tough business. And look, what I'm giving you, it's not science insofar as, there's no perfect parent, just real ones. Keep doing the best you can at not rescuing, but try to make a choice over your feelings. I feel like doing this, but I'm going to choose not to.
Mm-hmm. That I'm taking that one. That's my takeaway from this. We were coming on, Dr. Elko, and talking about that the verdict may be coming down. I don't know if it did, but that's all this next question is, how do kids stay mentally healthy in a world with school shootings and pandemics? And how do you, you keep faith, but any other strategies?
Okay, that's where the connection comes in. We've got to stay connected, and we have to stay connected to, if there's some situation where there's only one parent available. If that's all you got, you do that, and you do with all you've got. But connection's huge. Make the home a place that's safe. Make the home a place where they can give a voice to their upset, and keep on telling them the world. You have to be careful, but as far as we're concerned, it's still a safe place. But you need to be careful. You need to be extremely careful. And when you look at when there is danger or there is someone who gets violated in some way, you have to be careful and realize we're going to do all we can to make choices to not put ourselves in position. I tell my daughter, she's at UCLA, never do you set down your drink. Never. Never do you. If you are at a party at UCLA, never are you separated from your girlfriends. I understand what's going on out there, but teach your kids, first of all, home is a safe place. But a little bit of paranoia, a little bit of anxiety, those emotions, we make fun of them, but they were built into you to keep you safe. You should have some anxiety. It means caution. You should have some, hey, I got to be careful. There's my drink. I'm not setting it down. Teach them things, and don't teach it once. Teach it over. Even if your kids start rolling their eyes, that's fine. Teach it over and over and over. Some of the safety patterns that you need to do. In a car, here's what we do. We don't drink and drive. We're careful at parties. You don't get separated from your girlfriends. And I teach those over and over to my kids, because some of those things are just really a mountain to overcome when it comes to coming back.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if we're talking about resilient kids, there's a lot we can do as we're building these kids up. But a question came in, if an adult child lacks motivation and just gets by, should a parent sit back, or should a parent constantly push, guide, nag, set goals for adult children? When is there a too late?
In my opinion, there's never too late, but you have to be careful. My psychology is called Adlerian psychology. It's a here and now psychology. One of the psychologists who did most of the work on parenting was named Rudolf Dreikurs, and he wrote a book called Children to Challenge, and he came up with a concept, mother deaf. It's really, these days, should be called both parents deaf. Your kids will become deaf to you if you keep doing it in a lecture format. I like feel, felt, found. Listening till you understand. Hey, Megan, is this what you're going through? I felt that way. Can I show you what I found? And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just telling you, adolescence starts younger and it lasts longer, especially for boys. A boy's brain completely develops much slower. So some of these boys are 26, 27, 28, and adolescence is a period where I'm not a child and I'm not an adult. And it's starting much younger. It's starting so much younger, but it's lasting longer. So where some kids used to be a kid at 13 and 12, they're adults now in their own way. But they're still a child. You're not a child, you're not an adult. And some of them are 26, 27, 28, still figuring out at home.
Mhm.
So I think what you do is you talk with them, keep showing you have faith. Keep showing that you believe in them. Don't stop. Keep on saying there's consequence for behavior. I would just keep on over and over talking to them. I tell my kids every day. I was preparing for my talks today. They both came downstairs. I met them downstairs, told them both, I love you, and you have no idea exactly how big I believe in you. Keep on showing your child. My mother had a beautiful line. My mother's, she's not with us anymore, but I love this line. A child will get it over a long period of time all of a sudden. And here's my phrase: keep planting grass. Don't pull weeds. Keep telling them what's good. Keep teaching them. Eventually, you got a nice yard. Keep
I
planting
love that.
grass. Yeah, keep
I
planting
mean, I
grass.
feel like every single thing you say is a soundbite that I'm just going to keep putting them out because these are amazing thoughts. So here's another one for type A kids who put a ton of pressure on themselves to be perfect. What's your advice to help them gain perspective?
First, as a parent, be an encourager, not a praiser. I'm going to show you the difference. And there's something going on now, psychologists talk about it as the negative positive. And I want you to encourage the kid to encourage themselves and learn how to be an encourager. Let me show you the difference. My daughter got all A's from kindergarten to 12th grade. If I was a praiser, I'd say, boy, that's wonderful. You're wonderful. Look at your grades. I'm talking to her about the outcome and telling her she's wonderful because she achieved. What if, and this happened, she goes to college, went to UCLA, and gets a B? I told her she's wonderful because she got an A. And Carol Dweck at Stanford calls our kids these days the praise generation, because the minute they don't get praise overall, they tend to quit. But praise is, I'm wonderful because I did. I'm wonderful because I achieved. And we don't teach that. We don't teach. I'm speaking of Alabama football today. Actually, as second I was speaking, their coach just called me. Well, we don't praise. We encourage. Watch the difference. Watch the language different to my daughter. Watch. Claire, I saw the way you gave effort. I saw you getting better at. I saw your study habits. I didn't talk about the results. I talked about the effort, the process, and getting better. You first want to talk to your child, not about the accomplishment, but the process. Not what they did, but the effort. And it's called encouragement. Encouragement. So, okay, my son plays a basketball game, scores 12 points. I praise him. That's wonderful. You scored 12 points. Now he thinks he's wonderful if he scores points. That's called praise. Watch the difference. Jared, I saw you running up and down the court. I saw you playing defense. I saw you boxing out. Now I'm talking about the process and the effort. Use these phrases to your child. I see you getting better at. Use these phrases. What do you think you're doing better? Use these phrases. How do you think you're coming along? Now, to the young people watching, when you don't achieve, you have to keep on going. Bill Cowers, the head coach of the Steelers years ago, he calls me and says, I have a player blew his knee out and wants to see. His name was Chad Scott. I go see Chad. I go, Chad, how you doing with that knee? Watch what he did. I want you to do this around your households. If you watch some of my teams play, you'll see him doing this. They take their left hand, go like this. They take the right hand, go like this, and they keep chopping. If you're chopping a tree and the tree doesn't fall, you don't quit. You keep on going. And what happens is they call it frustration tolerance. Most kids aren't getting there because they chop the tree, it's not falling, they get frustrated and they quit. Don't judge, keep chopping. Don't judge, keep chopping. Encouragement goes to the effort and the chopping. Praise goes to the reward and the results. Now you teach your kid, you have to please me. No, you have to please yourself. Don't praise, encourage. Effort, not results. And keep chopping.
I read a book, the guy that wrote Dilbert, Scott Adams, How to Fail at Everything and Still Win Big. Did you ever hear this book?
No, but I love that.
He talks about don't set goals, because if you set a goal, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Well, then when you lose that 10 pounds, are you done? You're just done? No, it's I want to live healthy. I want to exercise each day. So it's exactly the same thing, the process.
Excellent.
I think that makes a difference for sure. I'm going to try to do one or two more that have come in. Let's see. All right. I mean, we talked about motivating and raising happy, healthy people. It's the effort, and it's much less the final result. Let me see. Let me pull one more, and then we will let you go because I know you're going to Alabama.
I have time. I'm good. You take whatever you need.
Good strategies for helping kids with challenges navigate new situations. You talked about a lot of the kids that were, born with no arms, but, so many kids are these days dealing with a lot of different kinds of challenges beyond the pandemic piece. So how do you deal with new situations? Because that's a different resiliency.
I think when you go into a new situation, when you go in, I think we have to tell them that it's a new situation, and we have to tell them, look, when you go into a new situation, come up with an idea. Want to be an old creative force in your own life. And I like this progression. It happened to me, it happened for me, or it happened because of me. And when you go in, you have to say it's a new situation. Use your creativity. There is, in business especially, there's so much now says one of the biggest factors is your own creativity. Come up with ideas and ask your child this when they come in. New situation. Okay. Ask them, autonomy. What are some ideas on how you think you can approach that? What do you think you can do? Let them come up with it. I used to be a defensive back coach at a university, and I had 4 defensive backs. 2 were pharmacy students. They'd come off the field and say, this going on. What do you think? I said, what do you think? You're smarter than me. You're a pharmacy student. So don't rush in to give them questions. Okay, you have a new situation. Let's brainstorm together. How would you approach it? And then when you give them advice, it's advice, not permission. Well, here's how I might do it. Here's some ideas I have. What do you think? Here's some different ways I would go about it. What do you think? And give them all kinds of faith. Give them, you be the sounding block for them, and let them kind of brainstorm out loud. Here's how I'd like to approach this. Here's some ways I think I'd like to go after this. And then just let them think out loud with you, and let them use their creativity on how they approach something totally new. And even go back, and we get faith from how we conquer stuff in the past. Remind them what they did so well in the past, how they've addressed it and what they did.
Yeah, I mean, faith, it comes back that I believe in you. Let me ask you this. You were talking about how people are growing up, faster. I think that kids are growing up faster because of what they've had to deal with through the pandemic and through all of what we're going through. Do you think there will then be an element of regression? Are people gonna, as things get normal, or we're all in a different place now?
I don't think there'll be a regression. I think in some ways life will slow down, but we don't know for sure. And here's the first challenge. Biologically, they're older, younger. Their bodies are changing. Where a body used to change at maybe 14 or 15, they're changing at 11 and 10. And so biologically, kids are a lot younger, a lot older, younger. They are becoming a man or woman quicker than they used to. So that's the first issue. And the second is media, songs, music, television. No, they're going to get there. I don't see it necessarily regressing. Did pandemic have something to do with it? Yeah, but I also think that when I grew up, I guess I'm getting old. There was 3 TV stations. Now there's 400. Now they don't watch TV.
Nope.
And there's constant information coming through this. I think we have to learn to put this down. But I don't see it. I don't see it slowing up. I see that it will keep coming faster and faster. And I think that's what we have to help with these kinds of things. Slow it up as fast as we possibly can. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't think there'll be a regression. I think it will keep coming for biological reasons, for social reasons, for everybody competing for space on our children's head. No, I don't think it will.
Crazy world. So the resiliency is what's important for sure.
All
right. Is. So I know you are flying to Alabama. This has been beyond amazing. I wrote down, so what now what? I feel like it's a balance. Really what I'm taking is this balance of so what now what to your kids, but then also having the faith, and making them a part of what the discussion is. So I really cannot thank you enough for being a part of this. I was getting some great, along the way, people were texting me, this is awesome. So I have to, unfortunately, I'm going to super fast share my screen to show these disclosures that we have to show at the end of a thing. So here they are. And now I'm going to pop it off, and I'm going to say, Dr. Elko, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to our partners at New York Life for helping to bring Dr. Elko to us, because this was just a tremendous talk.
You know, let me just give you one quickie. I gave to Alabama last time I talked to him. We were getting ready to play Ohio State, and I said, everything you do for yourself ends when you end. Everything you do for another lives beyond you. I applaud everybody on this call, because what you're doing will outlive you. So thanks all you guys for coming on. I really believe in this topic. And thank you for what you did in supplying it for your people. It just shows how you care. Thanks for using us.
Thanks, Dr. Elko. Bye,
Appreciate
everyone.
it.